When you see the whole world shaking and you feel your heart is breaking, take my hand, no hesitating. When you're just so tired of trying, all alone you feel like hiding. Together we'll keep fighting. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Don't stop now. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna mountains too high we can climb it. Feel this, we'll take in the moment. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Can you see the sun is shining like a new hope? Feel it rising, coming over the horizon. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Don't stop now. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna mountains too high we can climb it. Feel this, we'll take in the moment. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. There's no stopping.
Okay, I think we're back live. I forgot to do one thing. I had to load my PDF file. Okay, but I'm Chris Gajullo. I am the associate broker and licensed realty, a licensed referral specialist with Realty Connect LLC. And this is my weekly podcast, Real Estate with Mr.G. And so you can see. Okay, let me. Oh, I'm sorry. So you can see my full name. And I usually do this on Saturday nights. And Saturday was really busy. My wife and I are planning to go to England for our 40th birthday. And we were trying to find flights using flying points, whatever it's called, flex points. And it got very confusing. And then my sister gave me some more points. And anyway, it took about 3 hours, 4 hours, and then I had other things to do. So I put on social media that I would do it Monday at 7 p.m. And so I apologize for the delay. But who knows? Maybe I'll have more viewers on the Monday night, and I might just move it to then. We'll see. We'll see what works out best. But anyway, again, this is my weekly podcast, video podcast. I'm loading them up now to Spotify. I have about 3 years of podcasts on Spotify, but until recently, the last 4 or 5 have been actually now video podcasts. So it's not just audio, which is good because I think my program is more visual. I have that, what I hopefully believe is a nice introduction, and then I show other videos that you have to see the action. You can't just hear it. You hear music, but you don't see the words, and you don't see what I'm trying to project. So I'm loving that I can upload video podcasts. You could always see all my video podcasts at, let me get that up here under my caption. So I have up here, yeah. Down to the left here, real estate with Mr.G.blog / broadcast hyphen live. And I always have all my video podcasts there. So you could see it visually there, or you could go to Spotify. And again, it's up to you. You go to Spotify, you could just listen to your earphones, or you could watch me. And hopefully it all makes sense, all this stuff that I do. Hopefully it's very informative and fun. I like to make it fun too. So let me put up here what we're going to talk about today. I'll caption home prices rebound, good news or bad. This week we should have another Federal Reserve meeting on whether or not to raise the Fed funds rate, which indirectly affects the mortgage rates. It's not directly, but indirectly, and that and many economists believe that even though we seem to be putting the reins on the inflation, many people believe that the Fed funds will still raise it another quarter point, so that we definitely have the inflation rate under control. I went food shopping the other day, and it's still pretty high. I mean, people are talking that the prices haven't gone down on the staples that we buy. Like I was looking at maple syrup. It's so high. Different little cakes, still very, very high. You used to get like a whole pie for $5.99, $6.99. Apple pie, blueberry pie. Now half pie is like $8.99. So those are still really up. Now you might find the bacon seems to be kind of like leveling off. Eggs are kind of leveling off, but it's kind of these other items that are still pretty high, and would love to see those prices come down. So for that reason, many people believe that the Feds will still increase that Fed fund rate. Okay, so let me do my little video introduction, and then we'll go into today's discussion. So with Realty Connect, I could find you or list a home, help you list a home and find a home in all 50 states. We could talk, we could discuss, I could consult you, but the actual showing of homes or listing of homes would be done by other agents, and they're top agents within Realty Connect LLC. So if you're in my neck of the woods, Hampton Roads, Virginia, and you moving here and have to go out, for instance, to California, and you want to purchase a house there, I can help you do that. So it's really good. You're not paying extra for that service. My payment is coming from a referral fee from at the closing. All right. So there's no cost to you. If you're selling a house, it's the regular price. There's no added fee because I'm involved with it. If it's usually 6%, usually it doesn't have to be that. Split 3 and 3. Okay, using me, it's not going to be 6.5 or 7%. They may ask for that. The broker is doing it might ask for more, but it's not because of me, Christopher Gargiulo, Mr.G. Okay. All righty then. So let's look at our question for the day. Okay, for our topic today, and I believe it's Theo from Portsmouth.
Good day, Mr. G. Thanks for allowing me to be on your podcast. I've been hearing that prices of homes are rebounding again after a short decline. Yes, this is good news, but is it really? What is your viewpoint on this situation? Have a wonderful day and keep those podcasts coming.
Thank you, Theo. And that is really a good question. We have been seeing a a rebound from the end of the year as prices going up. Not that home prices fell that much, but they're inching back up again. Okay, and I'm going to show you a PDF file an hour ago that was printed on my blog. Well, actually, last week that discusses that. But I'm going to give you more of my personal viewpoint on this, whether it's good or bad. Again, in the industry, in the real estate industry, is always like, okay, we always have to say positive, 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 and that's good. It's good to be positive. I just like to be positive with showing the truth. I like positive to be looking for options to deal with the constant or with the current real estate situation. That's how I like to be positive, by finding ways to have your purchase or your sale to go best and to go smoothly and work for you financially in the best way. Okay? So, yeah, home prices are going up, but it's not great for buyers, right? It's great for you if you're owning a house. All right. Before we go to that, and I'm beginning to show, my viewpoint of this. Let's just go over the article. Let me get it up on the screen. Okay. That's not it. That's not what I need. Hold on for a second. Okay, I think we're live again. I had a little problem with my PDF file. So here we have the article where it says home prices are rebounding. All right. And if you're following the news today, you may feel a bit unsure about what's happening with home prices and fear whether or not the worst is yet to come. That's because today's headlines are painting an unnecessarily negative picture. If you take a year-over-year view, home prices did drop some, but that's because we're comparing to a unicorn year when prices peaked well beyond the norm. All right, and that's really during the height of the pandemic. Let's move this down here a little bit. To avoid an unfair comparison to that previous peak, we need to look at a monthly data. And that tells a very different and much more positive story. While local homes prices still vary by market, Here's what the national data tells us. So the graph below shows us monthly reports from three sources to show the worst home prices declines are already behind us, and prices appreciating nationally. All right. So I really need to show you. You got to see the months here. I'm going to move this down a little bit more. Okay. So I get everything into the screen. So we have Case-Shiller. So at the beginning of January, February, March, April, May, June of January, at the beginning, going to about March, we see kind of an increase, and then we see a downfall. And once we get into July, and again, this is of last year, we see these drops going below. All right, so we have 0.3, 0.7. It goes up a little bit here, back down. But as we get into the new year of 2023, we get into February, March, April, we see Case-Shiller has a steady improvement, 0.2%, 0.4, 0.5 of an increase in prices. FHFA shows a steady increase as well. CoreLogic here, we get 0.8, goes up to 1.6, drops a little bit to 1.2. But overall, we see at the beginning of this year, really starting with February, we start going back into the green, the positive areas. Looking at this monthly view, we can see the past year in the housing market can be divided into two parts. In the first half of 2022, home prices were going up and fast. However, starting in July, prices began to go down. It's shown in red in the graph. By around August, September, the trend started to stabilize. But looking at the most recent data for early 2023, these graphs also show that prices are going up again. The fact that those reports show prices have been going up for 3 or more straight months is an encouraging sign for the housing market. The month-over-month data includes a national shift, or indicates a national shift is happening. Home prices are rising again. Here we look at this quote here. I'm going to highlight it. History has shown that higher rates may take the steam out of rising prices, but it doesn't cause them to collapse entirely. This is especially true in today's housing market, where the demand for homes continue to outpace the supply, keeping the pressure on home prices. Home prices continue to show stronger strength than was previously expected. So basically what here is going to summarize here. For buyers, if you've been holding off on buying homes because you were worried the value of your home would go down, knowing home prices have bounced back up should bring you some relief. Now, for the buyer, that's really after the effect. I mean, right now, before owning a home, you just want to make sure that you could afford it. All right. I don't think anybody holds back, or a small percentage of the people will hold back and say, "Well, I need a house, but they're dropping. Home prices are dropping by 0.2%, so I won't have that much equity." I don't think there's a large percentage of the population that is saying, "Well, I'll hold off." Okay. The biggest problem, well, I'll get to that. For sellers, if you've been waiting to sell your house because you were concerned about how changing home prices would affect its value, it might be a good idea to team up with a real estate agent to list your house, because you don't have to wait any longer, because the latest data suggests that things are turning in your favor. So yes, if you're the seller, yeah, it's good to list your home right now because of the shortage of homes, keeping prices high. All right. Um, let's look at this other quick little video that has text in it that kind of uh, puts into a summary of how I feel about today's. The question is it good or bad, these upward prices? So let's show this. I could cut off that part because it's just advertising for me. But let me just get up this here. So mortgage rates are increasing. Two, for that reason, homeowners who have purchased their homes at a lower rate, let's say they bought it at 3%, don't want to sell that home and then purchase another home at double the earlier rate. So, and it's actually higher than double rate, okay? It's a double plus because they could have bought the house at 3%, but now mortgage rates at 6.78 and so forth. Sometimes they hit as high as 7. So a seller, especially if they bought the house not too long ago, really don't want to be bothered with those high mortgage rates, and they'll wait to see if they come down. So basically, sellers don't want to sell, buyers don't want to buy. So these home prices rebound, good or bad? I'm going to say bad because mortgage rates are high and most likely will increase more. Okay? It's keeping the buyers from entering the market, and it keeps the sellers from selling their home and then purchasing the next one. We're at a stalemate right now. And you could see that by data on homes that are being sold. It's really down a lot. Now, it doesn't mean it can't be done, that you can't buy or you can't sell. Each situation is different. Okay, I know there'll be some agent. Well, I just sold the house, and or someone just bought a house through me, and everything went well. And there's always success stories. I'm talking about the big picture. Now, if you're a buyer and that rate is too high, you could either buy down the rate. Okay, you could ask for gift funds from family members, and they have to be gift funds. They have to sign the letter that it is a gift. It does not become an additional credit line that has to be paid down. And there are ways to move around it. Okay, and either if you're working with me or you're working with your agent, they will work with you and with the mortgage loan officer on how to deal with a higher mortgage rate. Could be a higher mortgage rate that knocks you out of the ballpark. You can no longer, you were able to afford this beautiful home, $300,000 at a 5% rate, but at 6% you can't do it. All right. So let your mortgage loan officer, especially, work with you to see what could be done. And he or she will make these recommendations like, can you get gift funds? Can you buy down your rate? And there are ways to go about it. So it doesn't become impossible. There are some people, no matter what the market is, they have to buy a home. All right. They're being transferred to another part of the country. There's a myriad of reasons, and they have to work it out. So there are ways to do it. I'm just looking at the general picture. Okay, it's really not such a great time with home prices. Now, I mean, for the seller, their prices have gone up so high anyway. The prices that even if where it was down about 0.2%, they're still making a nice profit on it. The majority of sellers, okay? But what happens is that right now, because of those high mortgage rates, it's knocking a lot of buyers out of the market. And so what do you have to do? You have to think of ways to be creative. And when I say be creative, everything is by the book, but it's those extra steps that you have to do. All right? Okay. So let's show a little video now. Let's get rid of this. On why might your house not be selling? And I believe I have this. I did load it up. And it's, thanks. Hold on for a second. Okay. Hold on un momento, por favor. Okay, here's the video. Okay. So those are reasons why your house may not be selling. Always make sure that it's available. It's it is a pain in the neck because especially if you're living there, and then also get a call from an agent that they want to show it. But I heard am I disconnected? I may be disconnected. I just saw a sign, but it still says recording, so I think I'm okay. So so little things like that, and making sure that even though it's a crazy market, that your house is definitely priced correctly. Okay.